Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unknown Comics Podcast, episode 20. I am your co-host, Brandon, along with my co-host, Chris and Tanner. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hope everyone is having a good evening. We got a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of news this week.
Yeah.
So first off, we got this week on Tuesday, right? On the 4th.
May the 4th.
Disney Plus dropped Star Wars The Bad Batch. It's not Star Wars Clone Wars The Bad Batch, just Star Wars The Bad Batch.
Well, the Clone Wars have ended.
Yeah, it actually has like a little title slide where you see the Clone Wars logo fade away in favor of The Bad Batch, which is kind of a neat little thing. I've only watched the first 10 minutes, so I saw the big major spoiler. Y'all have watched the full episode. You can go ahead and spoil it. It's just episode 1.
I think if you've seen the first 10 minutes, if you have any kind of understanding of storyline, you should know ultimately what happens at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of maybe the new girl character, which you've seen in the posters, you may not understand
the little kid.
where she plays in the whole thing. But as far as the Bad Batch group themselves, you probably understand whose story arc's going where.
Yeah. So
I would think.
So like any other show where we talk about shows, we are going to spoil it. So if you have not watched Bad Batch and you don't want to be spoiled, come back and watch this later. Go watch it and come back. So we open up on Collar, which for anybody who has read the Kamen Marvel Comics miniseries, and it was also alluded to in Rebels later. So that Kamen miniseries came out in 2016.
Yes.
While Rebels was still in progress. So they come back to it in the actual series. You know, kind of his origin story, his original name, Caleb Dume, and his master. Depa-Beliba.
Yeah, so this starts off right as the Bad Batch is coming in and Order 66 is executed.
Yeah, and you see that Order 66 goes off. Caleb's master is killed. However, what do they call them? Group 99?
Yeah.
Group 99, who is the Bad Batch, does not respond completely
To the Order.
To Order 66.
Yeah.
One of them kind of...
Well, and so I don't think that was because of why the regular clones responded. I think that was just his personality of why he wanted to respond.
Because
they do allude to that later in the episode. He's supposed to take the Order like everybody else did, but he's not as inclined to as much as everybody else was.
Yeah.
Because he did keep repeating some of the same things. I mean, if you've watched Clone Wars and you see the episode where they almost find out about Order 66, one of the clones goes off and which is actually who becomes Echo. He goes off and starts trying to kill the Jedi, and they're trying to figure out why would he do this.
Yeah.
And so, they almost go out and find out that they've been programmed to do this whole thing. The whole thing is almost messed up, but it doesn't happen.
Well, but
they do say he is more inclined than to do the actual follow the orders, but he kept saying the same thing. Orders are orders, orders are orders. That's the same thing that the trooper said.
A good soldier follows orders, yeah.
That's the same thing that was said in the previous things, because that's what they're programmed to do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's like a hypnotic suggestion, which was always alluded to, that it wasn't just, that it was some kind of hypnotic suggestion that was in there.
Yeah.
Cloning.
Well, but Disney made it to where they have the chip, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they make it sound like is this Bad Batch has all these different mutations, but they don't have the chip.
Yeah.
Now, Echo is a regular trooper that was promoted to the Bad Batch. Mm-hmm. But they explain that he's gone through so much physical trauma from whatever accident caused him to have all the cyborg stuff that his chip no longer works.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I think, is his name Sight Scopes?
Crosshairs.
Crosshairs.
That's why I think it's just his personality to want to follow the orders.
Well, I mean, like I said, they said his chip's there, and then you see Tarkin tell him, turn it up. And then that's when he becomes full-blown trooper, following orders.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, he keeps repeating the same thing.
Yeah, I must not have made it that far either.
Yeah. Tarkin tells him he has the chip, and they tell him he's got it, but he just doesn't want to. He just is not as hardcore as a regular trooper would be. So he said, well, can you turn it up? And they say, yeah, we can do that. And they turn the chip up, so he's like overpowered order follower now.
Oh, okay.
He's Tarkin's special weapon now.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So the episode's an hour long.
Hour and 14 minutes. I was surprised by that.
I
figured it was going to be an oversized one, right? But I didn't think it was going to be a full hour.
Yeah,
14.
that's bigger than any MCU show that's been on so far.
And it's animated.
Yeah. And they've kind of, really, if you think about all the stuff that Filoni's done with the cartoons, every time they kind of start a new era, they basically do like a little mini movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense in a way that's kind of how they would do this.
Yeah, it's like smashing 2 episodes together without just the break.
Yeah. And
right.
My kids and I were like, we'll watch it, real quick. And then when I was like, hour and 14, okay, we're going to have to watch this later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go back to, if it aired on Disney XD, right, like Rebels did, they probably would have broken it up into 2 separate episodes, right?
Yeah.
And just been a part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said with those things, they actually just called it movies then. They didn't say it was an episode. Because, like, the Darth Vader thing, when he came into Rebels, that was a whole movie. And then when they started off the Clone Wars, that was
Clone
a
Wars
movie.
kicked off with a movie. It actually kicked off with the theatrical movie.
Yeah, there was animated movies.
Right.
They kicked those things off with. So in this case, since it's just a season, they can just say the first episode is just an hour 14. They're not going to call it a movie.
Yeah, it's pretty freeform now. They can do whatever the crap they want.
Yeah.
Which begs the reason: they're not doing anything with Disney XD anymore, are they?
I don't know.
Resistance, I think, would be the last show that would have
As far as Star Wars.
Star Wars cartoons. Yeah, XD still exists.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would think a lot of that would probably pull over
Yeah.
to this. So, yeah, I don't know.
Is that the end of those Disney specialty channels or anything now that Plus exists?
I bet it is for the more popular content. We'll probably get generic kid shows on XD still, but they're going to want to drive the Star Wars and Marvel stuff where you got to pay to watch it.
Plus, because they're making a freaking killing on it. Plus. So, speaking of Disney Plus, segue. We got some more insight into the Loki series, which also got an announcement that they're pushing it up 2 days and will be releasing it on Wednesdays.
And not only just Loki, all future Marvel TV shows will be released on Wednesdays.
So why do you think that is?
They wanted to release on the same day as New Comic Book Day.
Okay.
So I think this is, Marvel's moving over to Penguin Random House as far as distribution goes.
Yeah.
And last year, DC made a big announcement that kind of just destroyed things as they moved street dates up to Tuesday for all DC books.
Yeah.
And the rest of the market was like, what? What are you doing? And it makes sense in a way for some things because there's a lot of stuff that releases on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
New video games, new movies, all that kind of stuff that comes out in store or on a retail basis has always been Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So DC and Warner Brothers, AT&T, they just decided, well, it makes more sense for all of our products to be released the same day. But as far as comic book store retailers go that have always had the tradition of Wednesdays being a New Comic Book Day, the market actually was really mad about it.
Yeah.
And Marvel came out and actually had, last July, they actually had books that came out on the second Wednesday of July. They had like 12 or something books that all came out. And all they said on there was New Comic Book Day is Wednesday. Like it was just like that's all the variants were just to mock DC for what they did. So I think they're kind of going to that even further now and saying, we want to celebrate the fact that New Comic Book Days, New Superhero Days, whatever you want to call it, is Wednesday.
Yeah.
So they're bringing that together and combining.
It makes sense they do that because they've always tried to have their movie come out on Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
That weekend was always a Marvel weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I think it's cool to see that they're going to do that with Loki. Of course, we're going to see that with Hawkeye later in the year. Miss Marvel. We'll see all those TV shows also being released. But I think it also paves the way because we've talked about this in the past. Is what were they going to do when Star Wars comes back on?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Star Wars is still going to be, and there's going to be so many new Star Wars TV shows coming out.
At some point, they're going to.
So you think live action Star Wars stays on Fridays?
I think so. Well, because
animated is Tuesdays.
We already know the Mandalorian or whatever is coming out the 24th. That's a Friday.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, Loki was street dated for a Friday up until this week.
Yeah, but
they could adjust anything.
I think this is a way of them manipulating that in the future. Like, okay, we don't really want to overlap. We want them both to have. So how do we drive people here this day, this day, this day? So probably eventually, I would think once they get more and more kind of content on there, they're going to have different days for different things.
Yeah, I mean, that just makes sense. The more franchises they acquire, just put out something every day of the week, just like a normal TV station would.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good marketing move. It's a good smart move, and of course, again, it drives home that traffic from today's about superheroes. But getting my comic books, and then I can go watch the new episode of this or that or whatever it's going to be. So, it is. I'll be interesting to see what I don't remember. I have to go and look at which day MODOK is going to be coming out because that's on Hulu.
Yeah, that'd be one of the first Marvel animated.
Yeah, so and that's this month. So
yeah.
So kind of curious to see if they're going to be competing with themselves there, or if that's going to be a different day.
Yeah.
Or how they can do that.
Does What If have a street day too?
Not yet.
Okay.
I would think they'll probably get through MODOK because What If is going to be on Disney Plus.
Right.
So I would think they'll probably get maybe through MODOK, and then maybe they'll throw the What Ifs up there.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious when that's going to actually hit.
So we also got this week, staying in MCU, we got a little just kind of a, this is where we've been.
Did
this
you
is
actually
where,
watch the Stan Lee little trailer?
Yeah, that's right. This
Yeah.
is where we've been. This is where we're going. But inside of that was our first look at the Eternals.
Yep.
That we haven't seen yet.
Saw Angelina Jolie and a lot of the other characters.
Not a lot.
No, she was about the only thing you saw as far as powers.
Yeah, you see Kamar Najani a little bit
Yeah.
in it, and what's his bucket? Rob Stark.
Yeah, right.
The actor that plays Rob Stark.
Yeah.
I mean, you catch glimpses of him,
Yeah.
but nothing
big.
of course, that alludes to any form of plot whatsoever.
Yep.
But
I would think we'll probably see a trailer. I don't know if they're going to wait till Black Widow
right.
for a trailer, but I would think we're definitely going to see one in the next month or two. So.
Yeah, I mean, because we've already got Shang-Chi, and they're really tight together, so it would bear to reason that we've seen Shang-Chi's teaser trailer, that the Eternals is coming up behind it. Part of all that, there wasn't a lot of, other than finally seeing video of the Eternals for the first time, because I hadn't seen hardly any set photo leaks
Right.
or anything on
It's
the
been
Eternals.
very tight-lipped.
Yeah, which I guess COVID kind of helped keep sets closed.
Yeah.
I guess. We finally started getting some finalized titles for stuff. So the next Black Panther is Wakanda Forever, which that's MCU, or that's Disney Plus. I mean, right?
Wakanda Forever.
Or is that actually theater release?
That's Black Panther 2, basically. That's
Okay.
theatrical.
That is theatrical.
Now
release.
they are working on a ongoing TV series off of that
Okay.
with the same director.
Gotcha. Okay, so we saw that. So we actually finally got the official subtitle for that film. Then
And a lot of people are thinking that the font of that is setting up Doom.
okay.
I don't know why, but
Well,
for some
I
reason the font there, people are going, "Hey, that's like Doctor Doom font."
Well, sure.
We'll see.
I
But-
can see where they'd speculate because of other announcements later in the video.
Yeah,
that's true.
So then we get that it's not a Captain Marvel 2. We get the Marvels.
Yeah.
Which it didn't talk about. Did it have a date for Ms. Marvel, the TV show?
That's this year.
Okay.
But no, it didn't. All it did was theatrical releases on there.
That was
it didn't show any TV series.
Okay,
releases.
that's right. So we get the Marvels, which you see Captain Marvel's logo in the center,
Yeah.
and then you see Ms. Marvel. So,
Yeah,
basically,
we already knew all three of them were going to be in there.
yeah. So it is Monica as well.
Yes.
Then okay.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau, Kamala Khan, whatever her name is,
And Brie Larson.
Yeah, and Brie Larson. Yep.
Yeah. Or sorry, and
Miss Marvel,
Carol
Captain
Danvers.
Marvel.
Yeah. Real people, alter egos, whatever. And then at the very tail end, we don't get a title for it, but at the very end, you see, which,
The same thing they've been kind of teasing. in there.
was the Big Blue Four.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
think it's the Fantastic Four that they're alluding to.
It could be X-Men.
They just jacked up the X. They accidentally.
Those are claws that are bent in weird shapes.
If they're going to build up to Fantastic Four, I could see where people could think. I mean, Doctor Doom is definitely a Avengers level
And he
threat.
could be, like an early introduction to Doom.
He could be our next Thanos.
I would think, and I think that's the biggest reason why the other movies just because you think Fantastic Four, you think Doctor Doom, but like if you do all that in one movie, then like you've just wasted the whole franchise. So I
Right.
think that there has to be some build up to those characters,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know, it'd be kind of interesting to see. Maybe we'll see some. I mean, Black Widow is the next thing, but Shang-Chi and the Eternals. I mean, hopefully we'll see
Yeah.
those two things kind of really change up what's going to happen over the
Yeah,
next phase.
which I mean, I'm really curious to see, how even the Eternals plays in. Because I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know jack about the Eternals in the comics.
Yeah.
Like they're such a small subset.
It's almost like Kirby's Old Gods for DC, but they're
Yeah,
I mean
they
it's very similar, right? I know that they were another Kree experiment,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
So they were like, okay, well, we're not going to use the Inhumans anymore. Oh, the Eternals.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that kind of came in.
And then they'll find a way the Kree made mutants somehow. It's like the Kree just do everything.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
To meta humans.
well, we know for sure that, there's different multiverses and everything coming into this all now. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of different stuff that could be different in every movie. So, it'd be cool to see what they're going to do with it.
Yep.
They just needs to freaking happen already. I've waited. Done my time.
Mm-hmm. All right. So was it today that we got the announcement as of this recording for
Yesterday.
the new Red Sonja film? Was it yesterday?
Yesterday
Today was when I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was announced yesterday afternoon, but yeah, today, because one of our artists that we work with, he sent us a photo of like, here's what they announced, and it was it's a photo of the actress and a piece of art.
John-Kamen.
Right,
Yeah.
and he's like, it should have been my art and the actress. He actually sent like a Photoshop version of what the announcement should have looked like. So.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
So they announced Hannah John-Kamen will be playing Red Sonja. Of course, for those that don't know her, she was Ghost in Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yep.
She was in Ready Player One.
Yep.
I can't remember her character's name in that. She's in other things. She's a British actress.
She's also lined up to be Jill Valentine in the next Resident Evil.
Oh, really? They're rebooting that one, huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that one a movie this time, or is it setting up to be a TV series?
It's 2021. Welcome to Raccoon City. That's all it says on
Yeah.
her
Sounds like a TV
IMDb.
series.
Yeah, I believe, if I remember correctly, they're setting that up to be one of the streaming. It might be Max.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a TV series, though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. New Resident Evil game comes out tomorrow, and I'm resisting temptation to buy it because it just I don't like horror games, but that game looks freaking insane.
Looks awesome.
Yeah. So, so that's exciting. Did they do a release date for a Red Sonja movie?
I think it's just production right now, right? Just an announcement.
It's just an announcement.
Because there hasn't been a Red Sonja movie in '87.
very long
I think
Yeah,
was when the Bridget Nielsen.
back when Arnold's day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was that same era. I hope it doesn't just bomb like the Conan reboot did.
I forgot they even did
And
that.
I've watched that movie a couple of times, and to be honest, I mean it's not terrible.
It's not bad, but it's not memorable either.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Case in point, I forgot it even existed.
Yeah, and I think they just didn't put enough into it. It was like all of a sudden it was out one day. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, there's a Conan movie in theaters
So
with
funny.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, funny story about Jason Momoa. Sorta. It's tangentially Jason Momoa. I'm going through my news feed. I use Flipboard as my news feed, so I have like keywords that kind of filter everything. So I just get every now and again like weird random articles come in, and so this one article was from a small town in England. I don't even know the name of this town that has a train station, and I guess they, for a period of time, they rented in these sculptures of Marvel superheroes. And it's like they're making this big deal about come get your picture, selfies taken with these Marvel superheroes, and it's Captain America and Hulk and Thor and Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
That's awesome.
I thought you were going to say Conan. I was like, well, that would make sense. But
No.
you said, I was thinking it was going to be Aquaman
like-
or Conan because he played both
But
characters.
literally, like they've got them set up in this train station, like the typical Avengers kind of, the little where they all have their backs to each other, and there's freaking Wonder Woman and Aquaman in the middle of and they're just saying, "Come see the Marvel superheroes."
Somebody messed up.
I'm like every nerd in the world just cringed.
It's not Star Trek and Star Wars. They don't go together.
I saw an ad on Facebook, and it's a hat, and it's basically it says Star Trek, but it's in the Star Wars font.
Oh yeah, that would drive a true nerd crazy.
just to jack with people.
That's funny. Though.
And then finally today, we got a little small teaser trailer of Stranger Things season 4, which either alludes to it being very heavy in flashback, or this being a complete prequel altogether.
In season 2, she went out looking for others like her.
Right.
And then we never saw that again.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be more of, there'll be maybe a flashback or two, but I think it's going to be us discovering more of the other.
She's out trying to find more of them.
That's what I think. I watched a whole 12-minute long video on all the number Easter eggs in the video and how that alludes to the other test subjects.
Yeah.
No.
Which it made sense. I mean, because we only met one other, right?
Yeah,
So
and
far.
it was like
9.
They
I think.
barely even give you
I think
a
so.
a little bit of this character, and then they like never hit on it again.
Yeah.
And you're like, are they going to go?
The problem is staying in story arc with the boys is they're not boys anymore.
Yeah.
They're all pretty much adults at this point.
I think at that point, maybe that's probably what it is, right? They got to the point where they can say, now we can. They're old enough to drive, do whatever, so they can go and adventure outside of the little town, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, season 3 really teed up what happened with Hopper.
Yeah,
right.
It's a worldwide event.
We need something to.
We're outside of just a little town now.
Yeah.
So this is the problem with Netflix shows. It's been so long since the last Stranger Things that I'm gonna have to go rewatch it all just to know what's going on.
Very last, like the season finale.
Hey, that's probably the marketing crew right there. Like, you know what? They've forgotten everything. We are about to get a big uptick on seasons 1 through 3 because nobody remembers a friggin' thing.
Yeah. But one of the theories in this video that it was explaining all the Easter eggs was that the Mind Flayer was actually one of the other test subjects that escaped and became so powerful and created the entire Upside Down.
Yeah.
Because the Upside Down is an exact mirror of our world, but there's no population in that realm to build it.
So whatever created it knew what the world was like.
It knows where to come from.
Yeah.
That's an interesting theory.
Mike says, 4 is definitely going to be a continuation. With that said, the teaser was, at least how it feels now, nothing. Possibly. It could be a red herring. It could just be they just clipped a little flashback that's not really a major part of the arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just a little, hey.
I don't know. At this point, like, I would like to see, because if you could bring more of those characters that may have other abilities in, then you're going to have a lot more things to play with.
Well,
right?
and so this is a show that would be really good if they would release it like WandaVision, because that would give.
Weekly.
I mean, you could speculate every episode what's going to happen, but everyone's just going to go binge watch the whole series.
Yeah, I don't see Netflix changing their MO, at least not for something that hasn't already been that way.
Yeah,
right.
But speaking of something like that, like Game of Thrones, like that last season took forever to come out because they had to film at a certain because it was winter.
And it was still garbage.
It was, but at the same time, like I had to go back and watch a recap, and the guy that I did, it was like an hour 20-minute recap because it's freaking long, seasons. But he did a really good job of cramming. I was like, oh yeah, like all the things.
That's what I would usually go back and watch the season finale, because usually the season finale had like the little intro part that would kind of be like, yep, okay, watch the season finale, I was good to go. Generally, that was enough recalibration for me to pick it up and then to quickly be disappointed by the season.
But speaking of Game of Thrones, we have set photos of the new prequel.
The prequel,
that's coming out.
What is
the Targaryens?
Is it the Targaryen? I thought they were calling it like
no.
War of.
I don't know what they're calling it. I just know that's what it's about, right? What are they calling it?
The prequel.
It's like a few hundred years, though.
I think they're calling it
Game of Thrones.
Robert's War or something like that.
No, this is way in the past.
Yeah, there were like 4 or 5 different prequels, and I think only 1 or 2 are actually going to
make it all the way to production.
Yeah, and this first one is about the Targaryens and kind of their setup into power, but it's like 300 years before.
I do know that
House of the Dragon. Is what they're calling it.
I do know that Amazon's made it quite a ways getting closer to the Lord of the Rings series, and they've spent like $400 million on this thing.
Yeah, I apparently that's what they're saying it's going to cost. They haven't even started making it yet.
Yeah,
but that's an outrageous amount of money for a TV show. But I hope it's epic.
I do too.
Because if it sucks, wow, that's going to be terrible.
That's going to be bad.
I mean, it's Amazon, so they've got it. So
I don't know. The kind of the Tolkien estate, I think they're
they are very heavily involved. So I think
selective about
they have
what
a lot of rules.
It's very hard to make
very
something
Lucasfilmy in their kind of protection of the IPs and stuff.
And I understand it.
Well, I mean, he's basically the father of modern fantasy.
Correct.
So
yeah.
I understand why they.
No, mythology is the father of modern fantasy. He just took it and made it digestible for.
Well, that's why it's modern fantasy.
Yes. Yeah. But basically, nothing he thought of was super original in its high concept. He just kind of put it all together and packaged it in a way that was, that's a pretty cool world.
Yeah.
No, I'm not discrediting. He's great. He's kind of boring to read sometimes.
He's very wordy.
I think he gets it's that when you're playing a video game and you're like you're a part of the story and they tell you, oh, you got to go do this. That's Tolkien, right? He is including all these things you don't
It's
want
all the
to
text
go
boxes
do.
you're clicking through just to get back to the game.
But I don't want to. I just want to get to the next part of the story. Why is this guy singing in the forest for 5 hours? I don't understand what's happening.
Try reading the stuff that he didn't actually publish, but was published after his death.
By his son, yeah. Well, and the Silmarillion reads like the Bible, right? It's small stories that don't tell a bigger
that's
picture.
essentially what it is.
Yeah. It's the Old Testament of the Middle Earth kind of a thing. Yeah.
So
yeah. What else we got to talk about? I feel like we've talked about a lot, but we haven't been on a lot. Mike's just been talking about Stranger Things.
well, what do you say?
Tolkien really helped craft a fantasy world no one before him had. That's totally true.
Yeah.
You did. Edgar Rice Burroughs kind of came along pretty soon after.
Yeah.
But what they were doing is they were borrowing from what they knew, right? Because you'll hear Tolkien say that England itself did not have its mythologies, right?
That's why he wrote it.
He had a lot. There was borrowed mythologies from Celtic and Norse and stuff like that, and so he just kind of morphed it into its own thing, right? Something that he would want to read, right? Edgar Rice Burroughs kind of did the same for like the world of Samaria, which is Conan and stuff like that, and then the John Carter series.
And I will have to say, if that Conan movie had come out now, because Jason Momoa is so much more popular than
he was nobody when it came out.
Yeah, I think that movie would not be forgettable.
Yeah, because that would have been pre-Aquaman, wasn't it?
It was pre. That was pre Game of Thrones. I don't think he was a Game of Thrones things yet.
Yeah, he was already dead on Game of Thrones when that came out.
No way.
Oh, here we go.
I feel like it's pre Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I think it was like post Stargate Atlantis. Because who remembers he was in that?
Conan O'Brien came out in 2011.
Conan O'Brien?
Sorry, Conan O'Brien.
Is it the hair?
I just spoiled Game of Thrones that Jason Momoa died, according to Mike.
Hey, come on now. It's been too long.
So Conan the Barbarian with Jason Momoa came out in 2011. Okay, so Game of Thrones.
I feel like it's probably pretty close.
Game of Thrones, Khal Drogo.
But even then, at the beginning of Game of Thrones, it wasn't that big of a deal. It took a couple seasons
Game
for
of
it to
Thrones
like blow
also
up.
came out in 2011.
So yeah, it would have been nobody, right?
Game of Thrones is what made him famous.
Nobody would have cared at that point.
He died in Fire and Blood. Hold on.
He's trying to go episode
June
by episode
19th,
now.
2011 is when he died as a character. And why did I close that? God.
When did the movie come out? Are you on it already?
Don't give me the 2011 movie.
August 19th is when Conan came out.
Bam! He was already dead in the show. I rest my case.
Your case is not valid. It was the same year.
It does. I just said he died before Conan came out. After his character was already dead in the show. That's all I said.
I'm talking about more about popularity, though.
I don't give a crap about. I
'Cause
just said
that's what would
you
mean-
said. It
That's what
happened
would
before
mean-
Game of Thrones, and it didn't.
That's what
Right.
mean the popularity thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's still what he was. His character, his personality was still nothing
Yes.
at that time, and I think that
It just happened after he was on Game of Thrones.
well,
I win.
overall, I think you're missing the point there. What did he say?
I wasn't saying rest my case to you, Mike. I was saying it to Chris. So
Another comment. I can't see him. It's too small over there on that little screen.
it's because he's just saying it's his own fault that he hasn't watched Game of Thrones yet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're past the spoiler.
At this point, even like Darren, he only watched like the first 3 episodes, and then
I mean, the ending's even been spoiled to the author at this point, so.
yeah.
well, I don't know. He has his own ending. Maybe he'll write it someday.
He's just going on his own his own like branch of reality.
He can rewrite it, and then they can actually shoot that ending, and we'll have the result we need.
It'll just be on Amazon.
Yeah.
There you go.
My thing with Game of Thrones is like I was so burned by the ending. I don't even want to go back and watch earlier seasons.
I've gone back and started it,
Yeah.
and it's good, but I mean, it's like you already know.
I kind of feel the same way. So I would watch the first 3 seasons over and over and over. I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ending made me so mad that I just.
There was a point where I was watching it just to see how it all resolved.
Yeah.
I didn't really, and that was it. I never
Because-
and I don't know if I enjoyed it. That's what I don't know. Did I enjoy watching it, or did I enjoy figuring out how it was going to end?
So I
You
felt
know?
like the first seasons where they actually had source material, every little detail was there for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything led to something. And then when it got to where just the HBO was writing it,
Yeah.
it seemed like they would rabbit trail on these story arcs that would just end.
Which that was just
And had
the
no
last,
purpose.
2 seasons?
No, it was like
No.
the last almost half
I'm
of the
trying
series.
to think when. Yeah, I don't spend the time to look it up, but it was at least 3 or 4.
I think
of the
4
of
was the
final
last
seasons.
season that had
Yeah,
source material.
4 or 5, something like that. Before they, now he was always advising them,
Yeah.
right? Kind of where he wanted the characters to go in a general sense. But
So my favorite character was Jamie because he had such a redemption up until the last season.
up until he unredeems himself.
Yeah.
And so that made me so mad.
His character, that was really, I mean, outside of those.
Well, it was him and
those two
Daenerys
things.
just all of a sudden just going
everything
normal
they've
to
been
crazy and like
There's no development
that.
to that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very little seeding of how her break.
Yeah. I would say her and who knows what, if that was a certain person saying, no, it's got to end this way. You got to figure out how to make it happen that way. I don't know if that's the case, but
Yeah.
you figure, you think Mother of Dragons, her ending, sorry, Mike, that has to happen.
Yeah.
I think you see that coming from a long time away.
Yeah.
Right.
She's
'cause they're talking
Targaryen.
about
She's going to go crazy.
the prophecies, everything
Yeah.
says that that's supposed to happen to her, but like who they chose in the end, that was stupid. And then Jamie doing what he did. I think that's the two things
Yeah.
that pissed off
Well,
people more than anything.
And I don't understand, like, how did nobody in Daenerys' army not realize she was crazy? Like, they should have been relieved when Jon killed her.
I mean, a big thread in Game of Thrones was
the hope of the
duty
redemption for her.
duty to your monarch above all, right? That thread is throughout the entire series. People acting for their house or king because that's just what you do.
Yeah.
And so that part I understand. I understand her forces supporting her, especially the
understand
Unsullied,
them
right?
Yeah.
Supporting her, but after her death, I think they should have.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have just like, let's
It's-
execute Jon. Let's send him to the wall again.
And I think for a lot of them, it would have been, right there when she comes over and she's finally on this side and she just starts having the dragons like torch people. Like right then you're like, oh, yeah, she's still crazy.
Yeah.
But that was Westerosi history.
Yeah.
They always followed a Targaryen that was
Crazy.
that extreme.
Yeah.
Now, not every Targaryen went just batshit.
But at that point, you didn't know. That's kind of when it went said, okay, yeah, we've kind of shown her somewhat level-headed up to this point, and now
Yeah.
that she's getting here and she's doing the conquering thing, yeah, she's going full blown.
that turn was pretty quick. Now,
Yeah, it was benevolent ruler to crazy conqueror was too flip of a switch.
yeah.
And I think it's probably, some of that just may play out as the fact that they're like, okay, we have to end it. This is the end of the show. We can't go another season. And maybe there just needed to be, maybe there needed to be more. I mean, maybe there should have been another season. Maybe
They just couldn't
Well,
afford it.
there was there was supposed to be several more seasons, but they cut those.
Well, that's why last season got chopped as much as it did. So it very well could have just been a budgetary.
Well, and they actually, I think they had that going for quite a few years where every season got an episode shorter because it was supposed to show you that there was less sunlight. Darkness was coming. Winter was coming. So every season was one less episode.
No, it wasn't until the last 2 seasons that they started cutting episodes.
I think that was just a cop out.
I mean,
if that's what they said,
It
I
could
think-
be, but I mean, it's also
Because
pretty
Yeah.
dramatic.
For the longest time, it was like bracing yourself for episode 9 because that's when the bad stuff happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
like the wedding.
Now I do remember the darkness was a big thing during the White Walker battle, and everybody complained that you couldn't see what was going on because they shot it so dark.
Yeah.
And then HBO came out and said, "Well, your TV settings aren't right," or something like that. And I'm like, "Bite me! I'm a video engineer. I know how to set my TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't want us to see anything right now.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to render things like high detail or something because it's taking too long or something.
Well, money wise too. Yeah.
Don't start with me and my TV calibration. I know what I'm doing. So
Yeah. You take it out of the box and you put it on the wall.
no, you do not. Oh my gosh!
I mean, you could pay Best Buy a couple $100 to fix it for you.
No, they'll screw it up too. Don't even start.
Those guys are trained professionals. He didn't start last week.
All right. We got anything else?
No, we can hit up signings we announced this week.
Yep.
Officially, Ryan Stegman and Tyler. Or no, we had
Tyler. Donnie Cates.
Donnie Cates and Ryan Stegman will be here at the store.
From the 10th to the 12th, overlapping-ish.
Yeah.
So.
And then just kind of set this as a precedence if you are listening or watching. It will be a closed in-store signing, but we will be streaming it live to the store. So if you come in the store and you want to get stuff signed, totally great.
They're here.
We will have you here, but they will not be on the floor.
They'll
publicly.
be back here with us.
So just kind of setting that precedence. Tyler Kirkham may also be with us that weekend, where we should have known confirmation by today when you listen to this or watch this, because it'll be Friday. If you're live, Mike, sorry, you'll know tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and then sadly, Miko's not going to work out this month, so we are still working on something at the end of May, but it probably won't be a show. And then we have a lot more cool announcements coming for maybe more in June and some stuff in July as well. So those will be coming up.
Awesome. Well, YouTube-wise, we did what all have we done this week so far?
If you head on over to our gaming channel, Unknown Gaming, we did a Learn to Play in the second mission of the initiative. Tomorrow we are going to be filming mission 3.
Yep.
I've been working on. It's not out yet, but I've been working on my intro to building my Frostgrave list.
Okay.
We had our FOC video. We've been doing contests on our FOC video. So if you want details to be able to win some books, go check out that video.
Yep. And I streamed on Twitch this past Saturday, me playing Magic Arena online with my Help Brandon Not Suck at Magic. Spoiler alert, I still suck at Magic.
And you can that is now on YouTube also.
That is now on YouTube as well.
And you can leave some post-video tips for Brandon.
There you go, to help me suck less.
Maybe eventually we'll have a video that says Brandon doesn't suck as bad now.
Yeah, I don't see that.
We'll see. We'll wait for season 2.
I don't see that happening anytime soon. But we can be optimistic and think that that's going to come one day. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this evening. Mike, thanks for joining us. You're a pleasure as always. We'll actually have you. We need to figure out when to have you on the show. Guys, thanks for joining us. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.